order now. Director Stock?
Here.
Director Duell?
Here. Director
Wellman?
Here.
Chair Sassett? Here. Thank you. All right, time for a flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. This is our public comment portion of the meeting. This portion of the meeting is reserved.
Sorry, you have to report out.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's okay. I got you. Reporting on. We need to report out on the closed session. We did have a closed session this evening, and we will be placing the results of the closed session on next month's agenda. The next item is our public comment. This portion of the meeting is reserved for any person desiring to address the board on any matter not on this agenda and over which this board has jurisdiction. Please be advised, however, the Brown Act prohibits action on items that are not listed on the agenda or properly added to the agenda under the provisions of the Brown Act. The board members may, however, respond briefly to statements made or questions posed. They may ask a question for clarification or request staff to report back to the board at a later meeting. Also, the board may act to direct staff to place a matter on a future agenda. Speakers are limited to 3 minutes. Please step to the podium and state your name for the record before making your comment. Are there any public comments this evening?
So, Steve Cook, Peregrine Place. So I don't know if you want me to talk about this now or you want me to talk about when you get to the section for the oak tree development. But this is regarding trail easements for those properties, not water. So would you like me to speak to it now?
For the trail easements? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay. So I don't know if you're aware of it or not, but on the eastern, northern, and the western borders of the property to the east of the timeshares, there are 20-foot trail easements around that perimeter. And those easements flow with the land. So even though you're looking at a multi-property development that's going to run upwards of, 70, 100 units, and I don't know if those are going to be lot splits or those going to be properties within single lots, but regardless, the easements stick. And so it's going to be important that when the surveying is done, that the easements, as you've done in prior periods where there are contention, anticipating this, mark out the equestrian easements, request the surveyors to do that, so that, like Grinding Rock, there'll be a clear, Grinding Rock Trail, there'll be a clear border around those properties that preserve the easements. There'll be no trees, boulders, drainage, anything else placed in the way of the easements.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Steve.
Yes.
Great.
Thank you.
Robert Bowers, Woodward West for another week or so. We're going, that's the update. We're just waiting for all the signatures to cross hands, and we'll be in somebody else's hands.
Great, thank you.
But yeah, that's it.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you for the update. Are there any other public comments this evening? No? Okay. We'll move on to Board of Directors time. This portion of the meeting is reserved for directors to present to the board and the public information, announcements, and items that have come to their attention. No formal action will be taken. A director may request that an item be placed on future agenda for consideration. Board?
I have one thing. I was just, for the summer, we're getting into it. It's already miserably hot. About the lake and trying to get the bubblers, see what we can do about getting the cattails cleaned up, stuff like that. Just kind of on a future agenda item of some sort of progress towards moving to getting the lake cleaned up and happy again.
Absolutely. It's on the list.
Perfect.
We're working on it.
Awesome. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. All right. Thank you for that.
I'm okay this time. I have some stuff that I'm going to put later.
Leslie?
Nothing.
All right. Thank you for that, Board. The next item on our agenda is our police report, but Chief had stepped out. Is he available?
Yes. So no, we're gonna go ahead and table that. You will receive 2 months worth of police reports next month. And Chief had a pressing matter and was not able to attend tonight.
All right. Thank you for that. The next item on our agenda is our consent calendar. All items listed on the consent calendar shall be considered routine and will be enacted by one vote. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a member of the board or an audience member requests specific items be removed from the consent calendar for separate action. There's 5 items on the consent calendar this month. They're approval of the minutes of February 17, 2026, regular board meeting, a review of financial reports, approval of checks for February 2026, approval of CalPERS retirement payments, and approval of well production report. Are there any items on the consent calendar that are required to be removed or requested to be removed? Okay. And we need a vote.
I'd like to make a motion to accept the consent calendar.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. The next item on our agenda is item number 9, and that is a request for conditional will-serve letter. The board is to consider approval of a conditional will-serve letter for the proposed Autumn Hills Homes development previously referred to as Oak Tree Village. And do we have someone? Thank you.
Hi, good evening.
Good evening.
Put the PowerPoint on there for you?
Yes, you did.
Sure. Good evening. My name is Michael Chapin. I was here probably, I think it's a little over a year ago, when we kind of gave a quick overview of what it looks like. And this is literally the exact same presentation. But again, what we've done between that time and today, Laurel and I have had a chance to bring to you the conditional will serve letter. And that gives us, just to kind of share with you why we're really here today, is really to hopefully get that approved. That'll give us the next step to at least take this to the county. So our process in moving this development forward is we need to bring our plans to the county for review, but they won't review it without the will serve letter. So this is kind of one step that brings us there, that we can get more documents and kind of take that next step in the process. And for any board members, again, thank you, Laurelyn, for having me here this evening, and board, thanks for giving me the time. I'll be happy to share, again, just a kind of another quick overview if you didn't see this last time, or if it needs a quick refresher since it's been about over a year. And I'm happy to address the equestrian trail that was brought up earlier by the public as well. So and I'll share with you the slides. If you like, go ahead and just, if you want, just you can click away there. Just to kind of share with you, this is covering, if you're familiar with where Stallion Springs Resort is, it's on both sides. We've got almost 13 and a half acres on both sides of the property, looking to subdivide to about 34 individual lots. So no 70 or 100, we're much lower than that, it's 34 lots. These are, one of the things that's unique about this is these will be done really integrated with the community. One of the things, the first things we did was a lotting study, which took a look at the trees, the equestrian. So this is not like a tract home that you would see in Tehachapi. We're not going to mow everything down, put a big stucco concrete in, and build 5 condominium units. That's not what's going to be done here. What's being looked at here is, first thing we do is we look at the trees, how many can we save, where we can build. So if you notice the size configuration of the homes, it actually was done to preserve larger trees. Reduce the size of the home, we can fit a smaller home on a bigger lot. So again, everything was done with the kind of keeping everything in place with nature. These homes are coming out of Silvercrest, which is out in Corona. Silvercrest is known as the premier factory-built home. We're going to be building them, kind of think of them as a hybrid, part in the factory and part on site. So in order to minimize work that's done here, the homes will be brought in. The 2-car garages will be built on site and modified slightly to match the elevations that we have here. So there'll be a little bit of work here, but the majority of the work is off-site. So
when you sell them, are they considered module homes?
Manufactured homes.
Manufactured homes?
They will be sold as standard homes with conventional financing. They will be disclosed that they are manufactured or built from a factory. So that is disclosed as the type of home that it is. But because they're put on a permanent foundation, with the 2-car garage attached, its financing is exactly the same as a 30-year mortgage that you would get from Freddie, Fannie Mae. So same as everything else, but yes, it is disclosed. You can go ahead and click, and I'll get to Noah. And this one I wanted to just touch because you can see the entire site, everything here in red. Those are the 4 existing parcels with Stallion Springs Resort kind of in the middle. I believe the equestrian trail that you're referring to kind of runs along the back top ridge of the parcels on the left. Is that right?
No.
Is it?
So, you can see the cuts right here.
Okay, yes. That runs right by the...
Right, but I'm sorry, that one does, correct. Yeah.
I think it comes up, and then does it bend over to the right, I think, or it comes along the top as well?
It comes directly up, and then it follows the red line to the right.
Correct.
And then it comes down like diagonal.
Yeah.
And then you're not concerned about that, it comes down two more properties down this way. That continuation to Stallion Springs Road is
Right.
the utility easement, not a trail easement.
Correct.
That's the only easements that are on these properties, everything else is on the golf course.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. So, yeah, and again, we don't have any plans to overgrade or remove any of the existing natural elements of the community, the trees, the terrain. The only thing that would need to be done is the site excavation for the home, and then a driveway. Literally, that's probably about the extent of how much disruption we're having with the community. So, again, there's no overgrading, so the trails that you see would be in existence and they would stay.
Right. Typically what happens is that there'll be landscaping placed out in those areas that would preclude horses and hikers from getting through, and then fencing, ultimately. People want to put up fencing on their property line, they need to be aware.
That exists. Absolutely.
Because we have that all over Stallion. We want to keep people happy, we don't want to piss them off after they spend
Absolutely, absolutely. So again, that was our intention as well, is again to keep all of the natural beauty things that we have here, from the trees to the trails to everything that makes Stallion Stallion. So that's part of the integrated part of the design for what we've done. So just wanted to reiterate that we're supporting that as well. If you want to go ahead and click the next one there. This is just just kind of a top view of the site and the layout for the different size homes that are on or configured for each one of these. And again, that's a lotting study. And if you notice how the trees are still spread throughout the homes, they weren't removed. So it wasn't scraped off and the homes are put in place. It's literally we worked around how can we put a home and leave the trees where they were. So that lotting study and the oversight was done with that in mind. So, and we can just click through if you'd like at your leisure here. These
Can we
are...
just say that for a
Please.
second? So
Please.
that inset section with only the green, that is existing timeshare, is that correct?
The middle section there with just the green and no markings, that is the existing timeshare. You are correct.
Thank you. Go ahead.
And feel free to click through these at your leisure. These are just the different elevations.
And while she's clicking through,
Yes.
I'm kind of new to this spot. Are you fully approved? Like, has the district signed off 100% this is going to happen?
No, we haven't signed off on any. This is
Anything.
not
So
signed
this
off.
is still just proposal?
Yeah, this
Okay.
is just the first step. Realistically, we've been in discussion and we're happy to engage. And we've had, I think, at least one meeting there with different staff regarding water, regarding some of the ongoing discussions. So this is realistically our first step in being able to take this to the county. So just getting this tentative will serve letter.
I do have a question.
Please.
So you're referring to 34 lots.
Correct.
And when I look on your plot map, it says there's 88 units, and it looks like there's about 21 possible planned. So that brings us up to 56 units. And then what are the size of the 88 units?
The ADU units, correct? Yes, sorry, yes. So the ADUs are accessory dwelling units, correct? So those can be up to 800 square feet, depending on which ADU. And again, they're listed as optional. So let's just say that someone picks lot, let's say 14, and they said, hey, I have a grandmother or a caretaker that I want to have, and we want to build an ADU for her in the back. It can be up to that size of what the county will allow based on the home size of the front and the back. But if they said we don't need it, then the ADU doesn't get built, then it's not even going to be one that gets put on that lot. So it's a lot capable, but it's not 100% that every one of those that have an ADU will get an ADU.
But it would be zoned so that they could at a later date if they wanted to.
Yeah, almost every home in California, literally California is willing to put an ADU like this close to your front house. So,
Yeah, I'm just looking at density and, you know, what is proposed and what could happen.
Sure.
And I'd like everybody to be aware of.
I think because of the way that the trees are laid out and because of how this is laid out, the ADUs that are identified here, that is pretty much the entire possible space. So I don't think it's going to be anymore unless another engineer comes and looks at it and says, we can squeeze one back here. But they've looked at all the possible sites. So
The
this is
ADUs
our max.
are the blocks next to the colored houses.
Correct. If you see a little
Yeah.
square block in the back, that's
Yeah.
where a possible ADU could be. But it's not 100% certain that,
Right.
that they would be in.
Can you give us a maximum number of water users in this development? So that would be for every single, these are all single-family dwellings, right?
Correct. So every single one of those would be no different than a single-family unit dwelling that would be, I guess, attached here. Is that?
No, well, specifically what I'm asking is a maximum number, because you're here to get a will-serve letter regarding water availability, and what I'm seeing here is subdivided properties or lots, and the properties are going to have more than the density that perhaps is normal for other properties. So in fact, the number of water users is going to be increased per individual unit. Is that correct?
Potentially. We did cap that. Laura Lynn and I had talked about even a phased approach for the water usage. I think that was one of our concerns going forward. So if you look at the will serve letter, it has it year over year, how many water units we can actually do. So we couldn't build all of these units next year. We wouldn't encumber the district with that many water hookups. So we're maxed out every year up to a certain point. So if we sell more, we just can't install them until the following year. So it is a phased approach, and that's what we did in the will serve. So that would be the cap, if that's answers the question.
But altogether, there's 56 possibilities.
56 max,
Yeah.
right? That would be the.
Plus the ADUs.
That would be
No,
with the
that's
ADUs.
including
That's
the-
with the
56 total.
total. With the ADUs, if every single
Right.
person who bought that unit decided to put in the ADU as well.
So this is essentially 2 times the number of properties that are currently parceled out there. Is that correct?
2 times.
Almost.
Single family
There's only like a handful that don't have a
Yeah,
second
there's a couple that don't.
ADU.
Yeah, so 34 lots and 56, did we say?
Yeah.
So that it gives you another 22.
Yeah.
21. So it's about another 50, 60% more on top that have potentially.
Well, I'm wondering if there's going to be a legal issue here with CWD in regards to water usage, because we're subdividing they are contracted to give us enough water until we're built out, but in this case, we're increasing density. Is that an issue for you guys?
A couple items. The land is actually zoned for medium density residential, and I think even previously this had a condominium which had way more units previously approved we're going back a while back. And I think even before we brought this development to the Stallion Springs CSD, we went to Cummings Valley Water District to say, do we have supply issues with doing this development? And they were our first stop. And they said, hey, right now, Stallion Springs has an allocation and allotment that they have kind of for growth, and they haven't been utilizing that. So there is capacity potentially, especially if you have a phased approach. So one of the things that we did that was our first stop, is that is there enough water supply with Cummings to supply something like this for the entire process? And again, I think we took a conservative approach with saying, what if we simply phased it out over time and just make sure that this wasn't going to be impactful in any single year for the district?
Well, thank you for clarifying that, because that was going to be my next question.
Thank you.
Now, is this gonna be like, when you guys sell the houses, is it staying like apartment, like a complex where they run under your own rules, or is it strictly selling the house and then all these parcels fall into these rules and regulations? Like the apartments, how they have their own CCNRs, does that fall like this?
Would you like me to?
Please, Roland.
So the reason that they have come to you tonight for this conditional will serve letter, and I've confirmed this with the county, they are proposing a new tract map. And that is why the county won't even look at their plans until they get this conditional will serve letter from the district. So they are creating a new tract. So they would create, if they chose to have CCNRs, they would have their own, such as a condo complex. Our CCNRs will not apply to the new tract.
If you'd like, you can kind
Well,
of.
if there are no other questions, I kind of have a lot here, but
Sure.
One of my main issues with this is the aesthetics of the development. I'm finding a lot of these, well, at least 2 or 3 of these models to look like manufactured homes. They don't look like they're permanent homes.
Wow. Yeah, so we did spend some time kind of really crafting these to match. For example, on a lot of these, like you're seeing here, with the River Rock Foundation, if you look at the River Rock, that kind of encompasses Stallion Springs. We had our architect look at that and try to design these to fit within the community. So
yeah, these aren't the issues when you're bringing up now, but if you keep going down to the...
I don't think you have a picture of every...
These are all the units.
Oh, they are.
This is everything. Yeah, so if there's an issue here, again, these are, for me, this is kind of the easy fix, meaning if we said, hey, we want to see a different type of aesthetic design, that's something we can incorporate. We definitely took a lot of time to try to incorporate what we thought were Stallion Spring features in the home from the community. Like I said, with the River Rock additional elevation, the higher pitched roofs, these are definitely taking a lot of different care than you would find for any other factory built home.
Are we serving water to the entire development as one or separate?
No, they'll be individually metered.
The models I was talking about specifically, I'm an artist, and so aesthetics is important to me, is the willow model
Okay, maybe we can
and the chestnut model
okay.
in particular. I mean, those two, just stick out, like they're manufactured. The rest of them, I understand they're small houses, and I appreciate
I don't think
that.
we have the same pictures as you.
Yeah, they're not on there. That's why I'm looking through here.
No, we have different pictures than you.
They're the willow and the chest. Oh, wait a minute, that's not.
Yeah, that's the willow model.
It should
Oh,
be.
It should
We
be
have
in there.
different ones.
We have different, none of ours have River Rock on the bottom. And this one looks like a trailer park, like,
Oh, yeah, you've added
this is the willow that we have.
different pictures.
Yeah, I'm looking, I have.
That's,
That's not the house.
That was in the original.
Oh, this is maybe even really old, so no, please go off of these. So this is kind of the adjustment that we had, and I'm glad you have it, but the factory comes up and says, this is what we can do from the factory. And we says, no, this is not what we're going to do. So if you look at the change between what's in there to what you're seeing here, those are the incorporated changes we made to make sure that they did not look like what was at the factory, so that they looked like something that belonged here in the community. That's actually a nice thing that you can see the difference.
This is what you presented last year.
This is what we presented last year, yes.
Is this, I guess it's going to be a subdivision, is the intent here. Are you going to be responsible for your own roads inside?
Correct. These will be privately, I believe will be privately maintained roads.
Will they be gated? Will there be gated entrances?
No.
Can we ask questions?
I think.
Please.
Who's going to maintain those roads after you guys are done built out?
So we have our CCNRs, and this would be a private development, so the ownership on the land, we would actually still have our property management, you could call us, reach out, and we would still be able to.
So you will have your own CCNRs?
Yeah, to maintain it. We'll be able to do that.
So is this going to be are they going to be leased then? Is it leased land?
So they'll be sold, but the land will still be held.
The
Correct.
land will be held in the...
Yes, that's correct.
And this is a 50-plus-year-old community, right?
It can be. We've kind of talked, and I think we've pulled that as not being on the table or requirement.
Okay, I thought I still read that.
So the people, you're saying the people aren't buying the land, they're buying the right?
They're just buying
They're buying the homes and they're leasing them.
Like a mobile home park.
So it's
Very similar. Very similar.
When the audience asks you a question, can you repeat the question that they're asking?
Sure, if you guys would like. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I would love to, yeah. So yes, if the land was being leased, and I said, yes, it was.
Okay. And so if they have other questions, there's
Sure.
a gentleman.
Are they going to build on cesspool, or are they going to be on sewer system? The question was, are they going to be on cesspool or sewer system? I think it's a septic or sewer, but these are all going to be tied to the sewer system. So we will be paying sewer fees and water fees for each of these individually.
Have you guys done, like, I'm sure you guys have done this in a lot of different places. How much does it gain property value to the existing property owners by putting these large communities with small houses in them? Do you know? Does it bring?
Maybe, I'm trying to see if I can answer the question as best I can.
Do you understand what I'm trying to ask?
Not yet. Maybe phrase it a little bit differently, because I'm trying to...
Will this bring value to property owners that already live in Stallion by bringing a community of small ADU manufactured homes?
I think it will. And the reason why I say it is, one, first off, the additional revenue that comes to the district. I think we're well over $500,000 in just our water and sewer fees. That comes back. So all of that additional value to improve the infrastructure, that comes from just allowing for this development to happen. You know, when we put this in mind, the zoning for this particular property is medium density residential. When I first took this to the county of Kern, they actually were saying, we want more density. You know, they have housing element, they have affordable housing issues, they have a different need. They're looking at it from a different lens. So they would love to receive more units, and this was, quite honestly, the inclusion for the ADUs was the county's kind of requested area to say, can we add some ADUs to build up the density and not turn our medium density land into low density land. And so we said, well, what if we added potential ADUs? And she says, okay, that could work.
So the ADUs, when somebody goes to you to buy it, you guys have your own ADUs already kind of pre-established that they can buy into.
Correct.
And then you guys build and then install.
Correct.
Okay.
That's how it works.
Well, the low-density land is already turned into medium-density land because you're subdividing, though. Is that correct?
No, the zoning is in place prior to us doing anything to the land. It's medium density right now.
Mm-hmm.
So right now, we're keeping the medium density if you include the ADUs. Had the ADUs or potential for ADU units.
Because it was originally meant for condos and that.
Correct, and that's why it was zoned for medium density.
Do you guys already own this land?
We're in contract, and until we get past this potential point, we're kind of holding off on closing. And this is kind of our, hey, if we can't get water or sewer, then the land there's no point. So we are kind of like, let's get at least through the first phase. And as I've mentioned to Laura Lynn several times, my goal here is to be basically be a bridge and continue to work in conjunction with the district. Just so that if you guys needed updates, if we needed to bring things back, if you wanted to see the plans that we're doing at the county, those are things that I want to be transparent and have available here to the district.
What is your time frame on the contingency of buying the land for us to have to get back to you for this?
The contingency is open for us to purchase, but it's as soon as possible, right? I mean, ultimately, we'd love to move forward. The development, as any development, takes money, takes energy, takes time. As of the next steps to go through the county, they want money, they want plans, engineering fees, studies to be done. All of those things take cost, and we're in process right now, but we won't spend it until we know that we have something that we can do here.
May I ask who are the owners, the developers of this project?
That would be me. So I would be the owner on record. So I'm the one in escrow for this property. So as of right now, I'm the only point of contact, and I'm the only person that would be up here representing this particular
property. Are you saying you own the land? You're the sole owner of the land?
I'm the sole person in escrow for this land.
If it sells, it will leave it.
If this doesn't happen, then I don't own anything, and you won't see me. Right. So that would be it.
So, Christian, for the general manager, you've been in contact with Mr. Chapin, and you've seen what we have here. I believe, for myself, and I don't know about the rest of the board or the rest of the community, I would be looking at what is our potential downfall with this type of property going in, with this type of enclosed community. And when I say enclosed, only because it's a new tract.
Right.
Going in, how would it affect water for the rest of everyone? How would it affect our roads? Because you still have ingress and egress out of Stallion Springs, right? So now we have 56 homes here, and so 108 cars, potential moving in and out of our community, using the roads that are not a part of the, they're not a part of the community. How would that affect Stallion Springs? In keeping with the spirit of we want to do what's best for the community.
Well, without a traffic study, and I'm not a road engineer, so I don't really know how to answer that, but obviously, yes, there would be potentially, 56 new Stallion Springs residents that are getting their mail and going to work and going to school. There would obviously be some impact, but what that is, I wouldn't know. I would have to bring in a traffic engineer to answer that.
I guess another one of my concerns is, and nothing to dog on, I know, with our bus system, you're pretty much thrown into a lottery right now to get your kid to school on a bus. Adding this many units right away, we're already short a bus to Stallion, and potentially, like, there would have to be a bus stop, because that's a lot of probably kids, and then it's gonna make it harder for parents to get their kids on a bus.
The good news is a lot of these homes max out at about 1,600 square feet. So it's not a 4 or 5 bedroom unit.
Right.
It's not a McMansion.
Right.
This is actually geared towards, like you mentioned previously, more the retirees.
Right.
This is actually geared towards more the smaller families and a smaller sized home. So this isn't one that I don't think would fit that bill. Just to kind of keep everything in perspective, it's a smaller size.
And the district would have no impact or say. That would have to be unified.
No, I know that.
We would not be part of that decision.
Right. No, I know.
But I will point out, just so I know you're looking at the big picture, rightfully so, but they're talking like 2029, 2030 before that occurs, and who knows between now and then what the school district will decide to do, I don't know.
Right.
So these properties will be part of our regular tax base then, our property tax base, correct?
Yes.
So, question, should I include road taxes?
Well, that was what I just asked. Actually, I think the answer was yes, right? We're including everything.
So they would be paying for the road taxes?
Correct. Yeah. They would be full.
The landowners.
The landowners would still make the payments just as everyone else does.
Not the individual unit. So I don't know what the impact would be with it being the landowner owning the parcels.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know.
They're still going to receive a property tax bill from the county, just like everyone else.
For each lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Each lot, right?
Yeah. Each part, well, it depends on the type of tax, but, yeah.
Right, and it would not go to the homeowner, it would go to the owner of the
Right,
property.
which there's only 4 parcels, I believe.
There's 4.
4 parcels, yeah.
And from my perspective, right now, this may be a bad time for this. Why we're giving you kind of a hard time is, we're currently trying to tighten up and redefine our CC&R to update them. And so we need to decide what this community is going to be or how it's going to remain what it always was. And so we're just at the start of that process. So this is a lot for some of us to look at right now. So
this is the same presentation you've seen over a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
And it's taken us, over a year just to be able to say, hey, we've now brought this conditional will serve that's gone through their attorneys, that's gone through review. And again, this doesn't mean that this happens. What this does is it allows us to take this to the county and get further study done. Those studies will come back and you guys can review them more. But this just simply allows us to get through the county as far as being able to further the development, as far as getting some plans, getting the studies done that everybody needs to see. So this is, again, everything here that you're seeing is the elevations very, very high level.
Right.
Again, for us to dig in, this would be our next step. So again, we're hopefully getting to the point where we'd like to at least get a will serve letter. And again, what we've done on this will serve letter that was, I think, not back and forth, but it was kind of the, what do you call it? We just have mutually agreed on is that what if we did that phased approach so that we did not impact the water or sewer issues here at the district. And again, as Laurelyn mentioned, 2029, 2030 before this even happens. If the development moves forward and sells even at the best pace, it still wouldn't even be effective all the way out until 2030 in those years plus. And so that was kind of where most developers wouldn't say, hey, we want to just and sell for the next 1 or 2. We're pushing it out just to make sure that we can make those accommodations. So again, my request here is that if you allow us to move forward with this conditional will serve letter, we can take that at least to the county, and then I can always come back here at any time to give you updates as to how things are moving and what it looks like here.
What would happen if economic or environmental conditions prevented you from selling out each stage? Have you planned on what you do with that? Could it exist as the first phase only, let's say?
Sure. I mean, holding costs in terms of, let's say, market crashes, nobody wants to buy a home and nothing happens, it'll look exactly the same as it does, just maintained the way Stallion wants it. So that wouldn't make any difference in terms of anything else than what you're seeing here now.
I mean, so to just add a little perspective here, we have a lot of build-out right now, which looks to me to be spec houses, and they aren't selling. As far as I know, there's only one reason for that, and that is they're asking too much.
Sure.
Maybe as obvious as that. But the other thing I worry about is the availability of water. Yeah, we are allowed to provide you with a letter because Water District, Tehachapi Cummings County Water District, says that they are able to serve us. But as you know, environmental conditions are changing, and we have more and more droughts in California. And I have to ask you blankly, do you know where our water comes from?
Yeah, the Tehachapi Cummings Valley Water Supply.
Well, where do they get it from?
From the valley. I mean, I'm not specific. I mean, I don't know specific.
Well, then maybe I can educate you.
Sure.
The water comes from the state water project. Most of it comes from the Feather River project, so it is piped down in the aqueduct to the bottom of the Grapevine. Tehachapi Cummings County Water District pumps it up here, returns it to the aquifer. All of the pumps in Tehachapi in the valley, for very few, pump water from the aquifer. Water is returned to the aquifer by Tehachapi Cummings County Water District. So we are really tied to the snow melt, and the capture systems and the reservoirs in the Feather River system up north. It's kind of a limited system which is becoming less and less reliable. So for me to look at a high-density project here, you know, I really want you to know what you're getting into in this area is we have what is known and reviled in the San Joaquin Valley as sustainable groundwater. And that's been going on for 60 years, and it's really been, it's been the only way that this whole area has been able to grow and maintain itself. But our water is finite, and some years it may not be available because we are tied to the county water district, and the only place they get water from, except from the sky when it rains sufficiently here and it goes in the aquifer naturally, is from the state water project.
Understood. Thank you for that.
Okay. Thank you.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
With this many houses, if they did go full capacity, is our sewer capable of handling that much right off the bat? Because
The short answer is yes, and I did ask my Public Works Director, Jim Burris, to be here this evening in case some of those questions came up, in addition to the next agenda item as well.
Right.
So I'm sure Jim would be happy to elaborate if you'd like him to.
Yeah, that would be a good idea.
Yeah, so with that, okay, let's say we did move forward with this, and it does say the sewer is capable of handling this. There's a ton more property right there that's medium density property that would all get tied back into the sewer. Like, at what point do we hit capacity?
As of right now, we can handle it. But, you know,
let's say two more developments like this come into Stallion.
Well, you're talking about the total amount of lots that are sewer lots. If we built out all of them, then we would be at capacity. The sewer plant was designed to operate at full capacity on all the sewer lots. We're not near that at this point. This project could be handled by the sewer plant at this point. We have to look at down the road when the rest of those lots come online. We're going to be stretched pretty thin. So, with all the state regulations keep getting changed constantly, I can't sit here and...
Because eventually, when we hit capacity, we don't have property around us to even expand it.
Exactly.
So, we will hit a brick wall real fast if we do large assessments like this.
Yeah, it's gonna be taxing on the system down the road when everything gets built out.
Right.
Now, when that happens, nobody knows. But at this point, it could handle it, yes.
Okay.
Okay?
Perfect.
Well, do we happen to have that number right now? Do we know where we're at with, built-out lots?
I don't have it on me right now, but I do have that information. I can get it to you guys.
Okay, great.
Okay?
Thank you, Jim.
Thank you very much.
I have a question.
Yes.
As a newly Stallion Springs resident, I'm concerned mostly about traffic. There's one exit to this community. Adding that many new residents, you're now adding a lot more traffic to enter and exit. So are you going to be doing road studies? Are you looking at,
Path of travel, easements.
you know, how
A road study for this is 34 lots. So again, and we're talking with the most with ADUs.
Right.
And ADUs don't necessarily carry a ton of traffic. I mean, it's not a second unit. They're not, and these are 1,600 square foot homes. Some of these folks, like I mentioned, they may be retirees. So the traffic on only 34 lots, traffic studies usually for, 100 unit developments that bring in X amount of traffic, that are on matrix quarters. This is definitely low density, right, in terms of what we're talking about. And the fact that we're doing this over a phased number of years, this is nothing that's going to be, hey, what's going to happen to our traffic? This is slowly that's going to, it's almost, you probably won't even notice the difference because, like, as I've heard, there's spec house building that's going on here. If those spec houses sold, you'd have 3, 4, 5. That's kind of the same growth that we're talking about with this development. It's a few units a year, a handful of units that go in each year, and then until we get to our full 34 lots that are completely sold. So definitely, I don't think it would be as impactful as maybe you might think, hey, a new development's coming in and we're going to get traffic jammed. Certainly, this is more on that low density side. More so in the sense that it's like having a few more spec homes being built. What does that traffic do to the community? But again, my only thought or mention here is that I don't think traffic studies for 34 lots would do it, but again, just to kind of reemphasize, these are smaller unit homes.
Thank you.
Of course.
Well, the argument about the traffic being dispersed over a number of years until you're built out is really not rational, considering we're not building more roads to offer for your exit, your entry and your exit from your development. But I do agree it's not a great amount. So.
Is there any other questions?
I have one. Are you going to have your own security up there, or are you going to depend on the local police department?
Yeah, we did not plan to have any. The question was, would we be having our own security? For the 34 lots, we did not plan to have security for them.
Oh, do you plan to fence? Are you going to offer fences around the properties, or are they going to be open?
These are planned to be open.
Will there be any fencing along Stallion Springs Drive? Any fencing at all?
There's no fencing planned.
Okay, thank you.
Since the people that would be buying the property, or the houses don't own the property, if they wanted to put a fence in, are you guys approving landscaping, stuff like that?
I think we would bring that back here to the district and get your input before we did anything that way. We would definitely come back here.
Okay, I'm a little curious, and why would you come back to the district if you're doing a new track and we have nothing to do with it and our...
Oh, no, I still would, again, we'd like to be integrated with your concerns. I mean, I want to take into account for everything from equestrian trails, from how this thing looks to how this thing operates. We want to be part of Stallion, and so this would be something I'd bring up to, how should we make this better? That would be something I'd be doing.
So we've actually come full circle to my concern about where we are right now with redefining if necessary or going back to the original CC&Rs. We're going to have trouble with, giving you guidance under that right now.
Yeah, and I guess the best thing I can tell you is that what we can do is, if we're able to at least get this first step, which is a conditional will serve letter that allows us to take this to the county and have them review it and bring it back. I'd be happy to come back at, in a month or two, once we've submitted, and share what it looks like from their perspective, any other additional changes, and we could, hopefully, as you're learning about what your plans look like, if we need to incorporate and integrate those, we can do that as well. Again, I do want to have this be definitely a cooperative partnership between this property, what you want to see out there, what we're going to be doing out there. That's from the get-go. We've been doing that, and that's why we've seen the same presentation for a year. It just hasn't moved since we've been here.
Thank you. I do have a question for our general manager. So our legal has seen the at-will letter?
The draft that you have in your packet, yes.
Okay.
If it's possible, I'd like to table it. I don't know how we would go about having more in-depth conversation privately, if that's a thing, or if it has to be at the next public meeting, if it's on the agenda to go over it.
Yeah,
more in depth.
Approval of a conditional will serve letter would not meet the criteria for a closed session.
Okay.
So it would have to be just like we're doing this evening.
Okay.
Open discussion, public meeting, agendized, the whole requirement for the Brown Act.
Okay.
And I apologize, I'm noticing on my tablet, the conditional will serve letter that is in your board packet, it is stamped, it is watermarked draft. For whatever reason, it's not showing up in the digital
No,
format.
it's not. That's why I wanted to go back to it to refer to it, and I didn't have it here.
Show you in the paper packet, it is stamped draft.
Right.
It is a draft. So, but it has been vetted by our legal.
Okay, and just for clarity purposes, I want to make sure everyone is on the same page. That is not a commitment. The only commitment it is to allow them to move forward with the county to get permission from the county to start with their studies. And a lot of the things that they're looking for, we won't know until they do their studies. Am I correct in that?
So if it comes back from the community that we don't want to move forward with this, even if we approve the watermark, the will serve, it can still be shut down? Because I think that'd be messed up for you, because you're going to move forward with the will serve.
We're spending a lot of money at the county level.
Yeah,
I wouldn't want to do that to you.
Director Stock, I would advise against that. I believe it would open the district for tremendous liability.
Okay, I agree. Okay, I just want to make sure
That's why I want to make sure that everyone's aware what we're doing, why we're doing, and how we're doing, and if we're doing, because of those reasons. Okay. So what the ramifications are if we agree to this.
Yes.
Correct. If you agree to issue the conditional will serve letter, it gives them the permission, if you will, to go to the next step. Then they're going to have to go through environmental, they'll have to have their plans approved, or they have to go through a lot of other inspections from a county level, before there's any dirt movement, so to speak. But I want the board to keep in mind that if all the boxes are checked, if all the T's are crossed and the I's are dotted, and the district board decides to attempt to stop the project in some way, that is a wide open door for litigation.
So I guess amongst the board, do we think that this is a thing that Stallion needs, wants, or any of the above? I mean, I don't want to waste your time. I'd rather...
No, it's not a waste of our time.
Okay.
I mean, quite honestly, the way I look at it, every landowner here that has a blank land that comes to you and says, I'd like a water meter, I'd like a sewer meter. That's part of what this district process is, and we're no different. We're a landowner saying, hey, we'd like to have it served for our 13 and a half acres. So completely understand.
Ms. General Manager, have you been able to determine if this is an asset and in what ways to Stallion Springs Community Service District?
I have not analyzed that, no.
And I'm sure you will, if we move forward and once this is done, there will be a lot more money coming into the CSD, which is great. I don't want to make all of our base judgments strictly off of financing. The community members and what people move out here for is more valuable to me. There's always a way to find money Some are a lot harder than others, but I don't want to do anything that hurts what Stallion is. Does that, which I know the houses up there look way better than the houses in here to match the criteria, and
right.
By far.
And again, the reason what's taken us so long is really because we had that same kind of feeling, was that we want to make sure this is an asset to the community.
Right.
Where we're not looking to, like I said, this is not a bulldoze and put in to make, we can make money building homes anywhere.
Right.
This is not what we want to do. We want it to be an asset. So that's why this design and the elevations and all these things that we've done up to this point are to assure this board we are looking to make this an asset in the community.
Just to be clear, this model that's up here,
This one's not.
This is not
This one came from the factory, and I think what we had, and I guess maybe I'd sent her even an older version, but it's nice that you can see what the factory sent us.
Right.
And we swiped those off, and we had gone through and redid all of the elevations, and literally it's like, nope, that's not going to fly. And so we literally like, nope, that's got to change. If you notice, there's no elevation, there's no lift, the pitches are lower. We had to basically go to the factory and say, we need to change this, this, and this. We need to add this. So we actually gutted it. So what you're seeing, I like that you can see the contrast.
Right, for sure.
One of the biggest concerns that I would have, just from a community standpoint, is every month we have these meetings, and every other month we have members of the community coming in going, why are you letting so many people build here? Why are you not doing this? Why are you not doing that? So I want to make sure that we're keeping the entire community in mind when we make our decisions. We do have limited growth, and we do have stop gaps here. So there's only so far we can go with our water. There's only so far we can't build out. And that if the board moves forward with it, that they are aware that once we say yes to one, you could have another 4 parcels sitting over there, and you're going to say yes to another, and then you're set a precedent, and now we've got 3 mobile home parks in here, manufactured home parks. So they're not exactly the same, but they're similar in that.
The challenge too there is the density in the land. This is one of the few medium density zoned lands. You can't take a lot, even if it's a big vacant lot, you can't add and build and do what you just said. So this is probably not going to be duplicated because the land zoning doesn't exist to allow for something like this. And quite honestly, we're taking something that was zoned for higher density, more traffic, higher condominium use, and we brought it down almost to low density. So we've actually reduced the amount of traffic by doing this development, as opposed to if some other developer picked up the land for a medium density, it would be zoned for a lot more units. And with Stallion Springs Resort next to it, it could house more units. Whether they're apartment style or anything else, it is zoned for that much. So this is definitely probably on the lower density side.
The other thing that just kind of runs through my head is we have a few places, and they all run either their own CC&R's own rules, and there's kind of a pocket where the CSD just has no authority at all, and it becomes undesirable, where it does become harder to control what's happening in that zone, where we have expectations and regulations and all these other things for this whole community, and you have this pocket where they just kind of do whatever they want. And I'm sure when they came and they spit it, they had the same kind of speech of, we will maintain, we will keep on track, and then 15 years down the line, they've moved on to green pastures. They don't care about Stallion Springs little community, and it becomes a little undesirable.
Sure, and I can't speak to what happens in 15 years or what those folks or what they'd like to do, but I can speak to what I would be doing here with Laurel Lynn, and if my tenure here, my time with Laurel Lynn, and working through these processes, working with them to get to the phased approach of this conditional will serve, which is normal. I mean, a will serve is usually just that. If you got a parcel, you got a land, you get a will serve, you're up and running, and it's almost administrative. This is something that a lot of thought and energy went into between both our staffs to bring to you what is, hey, what if we slowed this down? What if we slowed down and made this work for the community? That's what you're seeing in front of you today. So again, it's kind of, we're trying to bring the best of all of what you've just said, and slow it down so that this is something that a community can embrace. Everything from the size of the development down to the phased approach in the will serve. So that's really, again, just to emphasize, that's kind of the energy that we're putting into making this work for you. And again, I can make this maybe whether it's an update. If you said, hey, we want to engage the community, we can have updates. I could come back out here 3-6 months at a time. You know, hey, we'll have them speak on what's going to happen. Maybe make some adjustments. Do what we need to do.
But that's after the will serve.
That's after the will serve, but it's also
Which
before.
At that point, we're kind of locked in on letting you do what you're going to do.
Not
really
carte blanche, right? I mean, so again, if we said, hey, we wanted something to happen in a CCNR or make sure this happens, we embed it into our CCNR, or we work with you. But those are things that you would, again, that doesn't say that we're stopping and pulling the plug, because you wouldn't do that to any other landowner. You wouldn't say, we decided not to have your house, we're going to pull your water or sewer permit. We're just going to pull it. We don't like what you're doing. We want less people. You wouldn't pull them.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't expect that same kind of commitment, but certainly I'm willing to make a commitment to make sure that we're working cooperatively so that this is something we all can enjoy.
Thank you for bringing that up, Director Stock, about entities. I think what, Mr. Chapin, you keep trying to impress on us is if this lower density project wasn't established there, it would be available for even higher density with a condo or something like that. Is that what you?
I believe that well, it's zoned for medium density, so it has the potential to build more units, definitely more units than what's there today. Absolutely. I am saying that.
So one of your points is it might preserve more space in that sense.
Absolutely. If this doesn't happen, it's sitting medium density land that had previously approved condos on that site. So this takes that away.
But I do have to add that after your last presentation, I tried to Google everything that you had given us in regards to what this project is and who owns it and all that. I found nothing. I didn't bother to do it this time. I didn't realize you were going to be here. I didn't really realize we were going to do a will serve letter because it wasn't in our packet. So we didn't actually see it.
Okay.
Until she just held it up there. I can't see that far. Thank you for appreciating that. I think that's why we're a little uneasy. Well, I'm uneasy.
Sure. And again, I want to make sure that, my commitment here is that I was here over a year ago and the community in this hasn't changed other than, hey, we've phased our condition. We've done these modifications to make it more amenable to what the district wants. And if that's any kind of indication of what I'm doing here, which is if we see something or if you see something that's not there, we'll make those changes to make it work for the district, just like we did with the will serve. Again, you don't see phased out will serve letters, but we will. We're willing to do it. So again, we're willing to make changes to make sure this is amenable.
So back to my concern, a year ago, are you saying that right now if I Google the project or your name, I'll be able to find the principals involved in this project and it'll just be you?
The principal will just be me after escrow closes. That is correct.
What do you mean after escrow closes?
So this is in escrow with me, and until I get this will serve, if this will serve never happens, if you say, Michael, we're never going to give you a water or sewer permit, then I would walk away and the ownership would stay whatever it is now.
Well, I guess I'm simply asking who your investors are.
No, I'm the
sole investor.
I'm the sole investor developer.
How did you happen? I think you actually described this last time you were here, but could you repeat again how you actually decided on Stallion? What is your history with Stallion?
There's not. I think you asked that. I think the same question. You did. I think you asked the same thing. And it doesn't. Again, the Stallion. There wasn't any specific anything out of the ordinary that makes Stallion super unique. Other than it's a great opportunity for what we thought would be a great community. We are approved with Silvercrest for factory-built homes, and factory-built homes are not the greatest to put in anywhere. You just don't put them in tract communities, you don't put them in suburban, but in the right setting, with the right changes, it can be a great community. So that's why this was a good fit for me.
Well, I'm curious about why this is kind of developing an already established development, who we know who the owner of the development is, and it's just curious that you decided to locate there.
I'm sorry, what's the question? I'm sorry, yes.
Do you have any relationship with the current
I do know, and I'd mentioned this to Laurel Lynn, I do know the current or former owner of the land that's there.
Mm-hmm.
I do know that he doesn't want anything to do with it, and so that's why I've said I would love to develop this independently and solely. So that's why we've moved into escrow.
Does he currently own the land?
I believe I'm buying it from him, so that would be the land.
Oh, okay. That wasn't, thank you for clarifying that.
I have another question.
Please.
Is it possible to build these modular homes and not offer an ADU?
Yes. Several of the lots do not offer ADUs.
No, I'm talking all of the lots, not to be offered.
So,
ADU in general.
So, as I mentioned previously, one of the first, we took this to Cummings Valley, we took it to the County of Kern before we brought it here, just to kind of make sure everybody had a look at this. The County of Kern's had a different motivation, if you will, for what they wanted to see on the land. They, as I mentioned, they have an affordable housing issue crisis. They want to see medium-density land have medium-density build. So when they says, hey, we may not approve this if you just put 34 with single-family homes. You're doing a single-family tract on medium-density land. We don't like it. We won't approve something like that. I says, well, what if we have optional ADUs and we put them in where we can? And she says, okay, well, that brings up our count. They're optional. They may not happen, but that was the only way we could get them to take in such a low density for a medium density land for the county to say yes. So that's why it exists the way it does. And I'm just giving you the insight, the true, down real insight of why you're seeing it there. So we can't take away the ADUs because the county will go back and say, well, now you made low density land. You need to go find low density property. That's medium density land. So to match the zoning, we had to add those ADUs as potentially buildable.
So I see the roads are tying into the resort's roads. Would you be buying the resort as well?
I would not be buying the resort. No.
Okay.
So my concern, and I'm sure some of the other community members would have the same concern, is it's great you're a developer, you're promising that you're going to work with the board and you're going to do all of these things. 4 years from now, you build out, okay, you're done. Everything's done, there's 56 units, there are however many, 34, 25. In my experience from being in real estate for over 35 years,
sure,
developers don't hold.
They won't.
You sell. Okay, I don't know what your plans are. It's not my business what your plans are, but I think the community needs to take under consideration that that may sell and the new owner may not have your same thought process of willingness to work with the board in mind, and I think the community needs to take that into consideration as well. So just throwing that out there, because it could be the next person says, oh, well, you know what, we're going to raise all the rent, and then the only thing that's going to be able to be in there is tenants. And so now I'm going to foreclose on these houses, and I'm going to have a bunch of tenants in there, and I got a 3-bedroom with an ADU there, and I can have 12 people living there. And, you know, I mean,
right. No.
We have to look at that as far as being a community. Because I've seen it. I've seen it happen in the past. I've also seen developments that sit halfway, and then you've got all these cement slabs, right? And because the market turns, now all of a sudden we've got a lot with...
And the good news is that we wouldn't have cement slabs until the homes are actually ready to build, because the homes are being built and they just simply get mobilized and installed on site. So unlike a tract home where they need to kind of pour foundations and you got to have blue top lots and you're doing 5 and 10 and you're building step outs for these, you won't see any step outs. If you see somebody, if there's a foundation, a home's coming and it's going to be built. If it's not, it's still the same grass, it's still the same community. So the good news about this, again, that was part of the preservation. How do we ensure that it doesn't end up looking like a tract community and having that tract feel with the step out lots? And you know, the only thing I can add maybe to if it's any type of maybe affirmation here is that when we take this to the county, we would be asked to submit further plans, further studies, further environmental. As we bring those back, as I promised Laura Lynn, we'll share those with you. We'll share those with you. If those are a concern, we'll make the changes and we'll bring them back here. So I think that's what's going to help mold maybe choices, design, build, quality, I can't speak to maybe, like you said, if tenants foreclose or things like that in the future. That can happen to any lots, to any spec-built home, to any duplex that gets put in, to literally any type of development, not necessarily specific to this one. But what I can say is that, we've tried to, at least try to, for what we can see, mitigate what we can, to make this as desirable as possible.
So again, I sat out there the first time you did the thing, then I'm up here. When I read this whole packet, I thought it was already fully approved. So before that, I was sitting here nitpicking everything, and I was very frustrated about it.
Right.
Because again, growth is growth. Nothing against you, I hope you don't take it personal. I am at a nay. I don't think it's beneficial to the community. I don't think it's beneficial to what Stallion is trying to stand for.
Right. And again,
I'm not trying to speak on behalf. I'm just kind of putting my vote out into the atmosphere.
Yeah. And again, really the main goal for me being here is really to ask for the water and sewer hookups administratively, to say that, hey, can we get the same hookup that any landowner here gets?
But if we give that to you, you're buying the property.
Correct.
And then I would never stop you once you put an investment in. I couldn't do that because if I say yes to you for this, I'm saying yes to you spending your money on something that I won't be happy with, or that I don't think the community will be happy with. So that's where I'm at. I'm not speaking on behalf. I know it's an odd number of
Thank you.
even number.
Were there any other questions from the community? Yes.
I guess I'm still not clear. This is really important from an operational standpoint downstream. Once this is built out, you've got your 36 plus units in it. Are we looking at 36 road tax assessments, or are we looking at 4? 4. And that's a no-go, because you can't handle the cost of all the traffic, and you're putting a burden on everybody else in the Stallion to carry the water.
The property tax would work exactly the same as single-family homes would be. So whether the county assesses, the county will assess those homes individually, and they'll get property tax bills just like any other home. So they wouldn't get anything different. Now, the landowner would also get a separate bill as well. But every single one of those homes would have their own property tax bill, just the same way as John Smith, Jane Smith gets property tax bills.
Well, I lived in a complex like that once before, and I didn't receive a property tax bill because I was not the owner of the property itself.
Well, like in a condominium, every condominium owner, they get their own bill, they own their own segment.
Condominium, but they own a piece of it.
And they own the land. No, they own the building, they own the land.
Right,
that
but
home's
here
theirs.
you're saying they will not own the land.
They will not own the land, just like a condominium. You don't own the open space, you don't own the community areas, you own your unit.
You own the airspace in your unit in a condo, so you do not own the land itself.
Right, so the airspace, or in this case, the physical building
is theirs. Right, so they don't receive tax bill for their airspace.
No, they get a tax bill for the units, just like everyone in a mobile home park, they get the property tax bill for the units they own. They get property tax bill.
So how many APNs?
There would be two, one for the land and one for the homeowner. The homeowner gets an APN for his property. It's on a secured property tax bill.
How many APNs
are there currently?
Are there that you're going to build on? APNs.
There'll be
strictly APNs.
Okay. APNs, there's 4 going into 34.
So there's going to be 4 APNs.
There's currently 4. No, there's 4.
And they're going to split all of those APNs to 34 individual APNs. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay.
And then
they're dividing.
But they will also give a new APN to the homes once they're put in. And those homeowners will get an APN number separate from the land.
You have heard this from the county that they're going to do this.
Yeah, I've worked for a long time with NBS. I've worked for Muni Financial. I built assessment districts across California, over $1 billion in municipal debt. Yeah, I do know. This is how it works.
Can we have something in writing?
Yeah, I would like to see something. I would like to see that in writing personally before I would make a decision, only because from my personal experience, I've seen it a different way.
Okay.
And I would want to make sure that once if we decided to do it or not to do it, that we were informed, completely informed. You know, that would be my request before I would want to make a vote. But that's my opinion, so.
The second question.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to make a leap of faith, but I believe we're going to have a link space golf course based on my discussions with the owner 2 years ago. And that's going to happen. Because it's a minimal water impact. And are these homes that people are going to buy, and is this the golf course that people are going to golf on and want to see these homes when they're golfing? I mean, my grandparents had a place in Friendly Valley in New Orleans in the 60s, and they were all small homes, but they were homes, and they were around the golf course. But I've also seen really funky ones where, the homes aren't desirable around the golf course. And I got to tell you, the people that I've talked to, and I talked to guys in Texas the other day, a buddy of mine that I used to work with, who used to live in Newbury Park, he said, oh yeah, I know where Stallion Springs is. I used to go golfing there all the time. And my eye doctor in Goleta said the same thing. We used to go up there all the time to golf. It's a destination point. And so when that course comes online, my opinion, like Jeff has an opinion, I've got an opinion. We want things that have a net attractive value for the people that want to come and spend their dollars here. Not that we get tax revenue from it. The only tax revenue we get is on the property tax and cover the roads. Everything else is cost recovery. So the fact that sewer, doesn't matter. The fact that the water doesn't matter. That's just cost recovery. It doesn't do us any good. The only upside we have is from the general fund for the state APNs and to distribute in a more equitable fashion across the user base of the road, distribute the cost of those roads, keeping them running. That's really what we got to worry about here. So, I want to make sure that whatever goes in here is really attractive for the people that want to come. They might want to live next to the golf course. They might want to take their golf cart and just roll it right on the trail and go to the clubhouse.
Well, and when I first read that it was for 50 plus, that was the only saving grace when I was going through it. Like, okay, I could probably get on board if it's already accepted. At least it's 50 plus. Because again, usually they're retired, less road travel. Right. People moving to Stallion relatively right now are younger families getting out of the cities, coming up here trying to escape them.
Gotcha. Yeah, and again, that was, I think, one of the original thoughts. It just we couldn't get enough market data to say this would be good enough to do a full 50 plus or 55 plus or active adult community.
Right.
But the size of the homes definitely lends itself to that type of community, for sure.
Were there any other questions from the community? Any other questions from the board?
Well, do we want to discuss this just between us now, or
we can
take a vote, or not?
We either have to take a vote, or we have to table it to another meeting, but it has to stay in the general agenda.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it sounds like the board has some further questions and investigation, so if I'm, more than happy to continue to work with Michael and, make some calls to the county and whatever the board would like to direct me to do, and then we can come back at another meeting.
Mm-hmm. Board, so we have a vote to table to possibly the next meeting to get some of the questions that we have answered, so that we'll be sure that it's in the benefit of the community.
Yeah.
Okay. All in favor of tabling until a future meeting for additional information? Wait, we got to make a motion.
Oh, I make a motion to table the Oak Tree Village site plan till another meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you so very much
for
your time.
Of course.
I know it's a lot of questions that were
No, it's a big deal. Of course, I understood, and I'm happy to work with Laurelyn on any questions. Please feel free to, obviously circle them through her. If they're any of the basis, we're happy to get those back to you and report back.
Okay, thank you so much. All right. The next item thank you everyone for your patience and your questions. They are all great questions. Thank you. The next item on the agenda is request for with the well water P17 improvement project, the board to consider approving a pump and well improvements to well P17 not to exceed $70,000. Would you like to go over the background, General Manager, please?
Sure. And again, Our Public Works Director Jim Burris is here to also add some details. But a little bit of background, water well P17 is an artesian well within the district boundary, but is located outside the adjudicated basin. In 2004, water pulled from the well was recognized as the best tasting water in California.
There it is.
Jeff was waiting for this, you guys. He kept staring. He wanted to know what this was.
How do I get an award?
The Girl Scouts, looking at things, cookies.
It was awarded at the Water Expo in Lake Tahoe by the state of California, and the sample came from P17. So proud of that. We wanted to prove it. We have the award. P17 was taken out of production in 2020 as the current pump only produces about 27 gallons per minute, and it will not overcome system operation pressure. Therefore, the pump must be removed to bring the well back online, producing water for the community's consumption. This proposal is replacement of the pump and the equipment with upgraded versions, estimated to produce around 50 gallons per minute, almost double the current capacity. Cost of repairs also brings the well up to current state-required standards. P17 is located outside of the adjudicated basin, reducing the district's dependency of TCCWD by approximately 6 acre-feet per month, or equaling a savings of about $2,400 a month, or an annual savings of an estimated $28,800. This estimate is based on average customer consumption. At estimated capacity, in 2.5 years, the district could realize a cost savings of $28,800 annually by completing this project. And with that, I'll ask Jim to come to the podium and share with you his wisdom.
I think that pretty much sums it up in a nutshell, but it is a project that will pay for itself over time. It's a great well. When we had it running, this will double the capacity of it. It's going to have updated variable force drive, so if we draw down the well at any point too fast, it'll slow the well down. It'll keep us at an even pace. So depending on what's going on with it, it should hopefully produce about 40 to 50 gallons a minute at any time. So we're hoping to get that back online, as we may be looking at some other well projects that we need to invest in here. So this is something that actually will pay for itself, which is unique to other wells that we pay cash and Cummings for the water that we pump out of it. So
how does it protect?
Sorry.
I was just curious, who gets the best tasting water in California? Like, what part of Stallion?
I live right across the street from
you really? I don't think that's fair. That's lower Stallion, right? Yeah. All right, good. All right. That was all. Sorry.
How does the production compare to the other wells?
How is the production of it right now?
No, when it's fixed.
Oh, it'll be like Y23. It does about 40 gallons. It's down to about 30 gallons now, so that well is starting to tire. So we're going to be looking at having to do some work to that one before too long as well. So it's important that we get this one started and kind of leapfrog these projects as we go along. So.
But how does it compare to CW3, which probably is our best producing?
we can run that thing at 600 gallons a minute, but it's a huge well, and it's a totally different type of animal.
Did we get any competing estimates for the work?
We've called some of the other well companies down in Bakersfield. This being a smaller well, they usually are so busy that they won't even come up and give us bids on them right now. But we've used Shelby in the past. They've done a great job. They did our last one at CV2, and we actually paid less for rehabbing that well than we did in a previous time when we had Bakersfield well and pump to it. So
yeah, I know that has been the history of lately up here, getting people to work on stuff.
Right.
Well, people are very busy. Well, I just want to say that I think this is very forward-looking, and if the district can afford it right now, I think it's going to be more than worth it in the long run, especially if anyone was listening to my long-winded description of where we get our water from. Again, this water is outside the adjudicated district, which means it doesn't have a water meter on it, which means we are protecting ourselves against the future. Now, we're not replacing water.
Right.
But, at least we'll have something.
We're not paying taxes for
sideways,
this water.
and they very well could, so.
Yeah, this water doesn't go against our allocation, so that's good.
The cost to recoup is, it looks like 3 years, which is great.
Yeah.
I think that's fantastic. What is the life expectancy of that well,
Well,
anticipated life expectancy?
I think the last time we did this was about 8 or 9 years ago now, so, you know, if we run it constantly, we're probably looking at those. They're a little bit more efficient now on energy use too, so that's gonna help in cost of production of water, so. But we are looking at, on top of this, we're gonna build a building around it. We're gonna secure the well. We have to add chlorine, treatment to it, so. There's more than just replacing the well.
And that's all part of this in the.
Yes, yeah. The actual cost of replacing the well itself is, I think, $47,000, so we're looking at doing, right.
Too. Okay.
Yeah, we gotta do concrete work
Electrical.
and build the building, electrical and stuff like that, so.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Are we treating all our wells with chlorine?
Yes, yeah, the state requires it now. That, we never did with this. This water it didn't have to be in the past, but now they require it, so.
All right, thank you.
So we're looking at a cost to recoup of 3 years, and then we say, what, 10 years life expectancy?
Yeah,
Making repairs?
right.
So 7 years of profit?
Yeah, hopefully, yeah. Yep.
I would like to make a motion. Is there any more people?
Does anybody have any questions? The community have any questions? The board have any more questions? Okay, we'll take a motion.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the well P17 improvement project.
Second.
And excuse me if I may, I'm so sorry, Director Stock, there's, on your ASI, there's very specific wording
I
under the
understand.
recommendation.
Is it up
has
there?
to be on the record.
Is it up there?
Yes.
Yes,
Where at?
At the
Down
bottom where it says
I
your
say the whole thing.
recommendation.
yes, it has to be on record.
I would like
It's
to
not
make a
my rule.
motion. I'd like to make a motion to approve the contract with Shelby Well and Pump at a charge not to exceed $70,000. Charge it to 05-8023 water capital contract in the current budget. Approve the transfer of monies from Fund 50390 water capital improvement to Fund 50380 general fund to cover the expense.
Second.
Not cool.
It's not my
Thank you.
rule, I'm sorry.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much. All right, the next item on the agenda is number 11, board consideration of forming a roads committee. The board is to consider forming a roads committee. The purpose of the committee will be to work with staff to formulate a long-range plan for the road repairs needed throughout the community. If a committee is formed, 2 board members will need to be appointed. So for the background on this one, in 2018, the district obtained a loan for road improvements in the amount of $1.5 million. These funds were obtained for the purpose of overlays, thin blade seal, curb and gutter replacement, and other miscellaneous road work throughout the district. The loan payment is $182,642 annually. The loan will be paid off in 2028. Currently, all properties within the district boundary pay a road assessment of $150 per year per parcel. This generates around $340,000 per year in road revenue. Considering the loan payment, the district has an annual road budget of around $157,357.99. These funds are used for equipment and supplies for pothole repairs, snow plowing, street signage, and other road equipment. No staff is currently dedicated solely to the roads department. In 2022, a road study was conducted by Rupert and Schuler Civil Engineers that identified road conditions and mapping that prioritized roads that needed attention in the next 1 to 4 years, 5 to 7 years, and 8 to 10 years. That was attached in our minutes. Using the information from Rupert and Schuler Civil Engineering, and after conducting a traffic study by NPS Consulting in 2023, a proposed increase to the road assessment was proposed, but it was rejected by voters. The recommendation by our general manager is to postpone formation of the roads committee until 2027 in anticipation of the road loan being paid off in 2028. Do we have any questions from the board?
Yeah, I actually have a number of issues here, and only because it's been brought up by this ASI. How much do we currently spend? It's good Jim's here, actually. How much do we currently spend each year on roads? It says here we have 150. Do we use all that?
Yes.
Oops. That's just in the maintenance by maintenance on the roads.
Yeah, it goes for snow plowing and equipment, fuel and everything else that we have to use for that.
Okay.
Potholes, the asphalt, mastic, everything that we use to fix potholes and maintain those. It goes for side drains, it goes for street signs, everything.
So you're utilizing the entire remainder of the budget there?
Right.
Okay. In this study that was done, yeah, I've seen this, I saw this, I guess, a couple of years ago. And I wasn't really clear what the drawings were supposed to indicate to us. It gives different levels of spending to take care of our roads. And it wasn't clear to me whether the different levels of spending ended up decreasing the amount quicker, or exactly what the point of the drawings were. Could we clarify that now? Or did I make that question clear?
Yes, you did.
Okay.
And I was not here, but so I'm going to share my interpretation. For example, if you look at the map that has a $200,000 budget on it, that is, because at this time, this was prior to going out to the community and asking for the increase. This was homework, if you will, behind the scenes, right? So this is giving the board a snapshot, if you will, of, okay, if a assessment was passed that would generate $200,000 a year, this is prioritizing roads that the engineers are asking or suggesting be fixed in order. So the red are roads that are in very poor condition, yellow or, a little bit better, and then, green. And it's what they're proposing, what the district could do with $200,000 and prioritizing the roads that need the most attention. And they did that with $200,000, $400,000, and $500,000.
My question about the interpretation of this, thank you, is that there are all colors shown, let's say, on the 200,000. Are they saying these are the roads they would attack, or they're only going to attack the red roads first, the worst ones?
They're suggesting that if the district had $200,000 to work with, the red would be the highest priority, and they would work down from there.
Well, so then if you take the original, the first drawing, which isn't a number, an economic drawing, all of that red disappears with $200,000. So what's left is what we see here on the 200K budget, is that right?
That's my understanding, yes. And again, I'm not a road engineer.
I believe that is incorrect.
Yeah,
okay.
I don't understand that.
Well,
We did mobilize the equipment up here. When we did this road out
can
here,
you come
it was $40,000.
Yeah, can you come up
It was $40,000 just for them to move the equipment up here. And that was, I don't know how many years ago, 8 years ago? So this is just, we would get the same assessment from the engineer every year, okay? And all I would do was change the date. The roads aren't getting any better. They're still bad shape. And to do all of the red stuff, I mean, we're talking millions of dollars.
Yes.
All they're doing is
you could
suggesting
scroll
that
down, Judy, to the one that says 200.
any of these in the red need to be done first, but not all of them are going to get done with $200,000.
Well, and if you look at the $550,000 budget, the roads actually got worse.
Yeah, well.
So, I don't know how that works.
Well, I mean.
The first drawing is obvious, but I'm saying,
Right.
how does these separate numbers for the amount spent, I'm not seeing what's going on there on the reduction of what the original map is. That's what I'm missing.
I'm not familiar with this map here. I don't know when that
Do you want me to go back
came.
to
Is this the $200,000?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the $200,000, everything in red, right?
Okay, that could be possible, yeah.
That's what they're looking at.
They're saying that's what they're gonna
That's
do.
what they would do.
Those are the worst of the
Yeah.
worst,
Right.
apparently, yeah.
And this is based on if we would have received the funds, but we
Yeah,
did not.
that makes more
We did not
sense.
receive the funds.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes more sense looking at that. Okay.
So in 2 years, basically, we pay the loan off. We get roughly $150,000+ back. So that's almost to our $200,000.
Excess of that, our payment is over $180,000 annually.
No, I said once
on the
we,
loan. So
once
the loan
we're
is
paid off. That's what I said.
That's $180,000+ a
That
year
we-
savings.
Yes, that we get back.
Yes.
So that's almost our $200,000. So with that, we could start effectively
Yeah, we could-
chipping away, and that's why you want to wait for the road.
Correct.
Well, and just be aware that probably prices are going to be at least
Oh, yeah.
50% more than they were quoted here. And given that oil may not be where it's at now, it could be worse.
Yeah, we're
But-
paying about double for asphalt that we get delivered
Right.
right now for just fixing potholes
Yeah.
than we did 3 years ago, so.
As the director who asked us to put on the budget per Steve Cook's talking about it, I'm not sure who requested it other than me, but I would say this is a very rational approach, and looking to this in the relatively short amount of time, we pay off this existing loan, it's going to put us in a different position just in roads.
Yeah.
And not only that, but I understand that a lot of our loans are coming due, our standing significant loans, and I'd kind of like to hear from the general manager where we are with those loans right now.
So the district has 3 outstanding loans. We have a road loan, we have a well loan, we have a lift station loan. The road loan, as discussed in the ASI, is just over $180,000 annual payment, and it will be paid off in 2 years. We have 2 more payments, so in 2028, that loan will be paid off. The well loan, has 3 more payments. It will be paid off in 2029. The lift station loan.
Excuse me, 3 more years of payments.
On the well.
Yeah.
The well loan has 3 more years of payments, yes. It will be paid off in 2029. The lift station loan, I joke, but I don't. I call it the 30-year mess. It's a very convoluted, interesting loan. And it has a 110% prepayment penalty to it. And we've got till 2040, I believe.
So we don't even talk about that.
2048 before that's paid off. So there's really, that one's just, unfortunately, just probably going to be there.
Can I ask a quick question to Steve? I know you've probably put a lot of work into this already. We're 2 years away from the loan paid off, we want to wait for a committee. The committee's going to have a lot of research and stuff to do. What is an adequate time, like how long do you think the committee should be formed to be prepared for this funding to be freed up? Do you think 2 years is a bit much?
Well,
because I know it's a long-term thing.
Okay, there's several things going on. First of all, these data here, these studies were based on
a few years ago. Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
So these
Correct.
are 4+ years old.
Right.
Correct.
And they talked about 3 different allocations that they could approach this with for the repairs. We're already in the 3rd time frame. We're on the edge of the 3rd time frame.
Right.
And so, our roads have termites. They're not getting better. And we know what termites do to houses, with our water and the freezing that we get, we have the same effect on the roads.
Right.
And so at some point, what we do to clear the snow from the road begins to impact the quality of the road. Because you have so many cracks, you're going to be opening them up and just making it so that you can't repair them. You have to replace them. I was in a town meeting a week ago Saturday. Bear Valley invited me to come and speak, and I kind of spoke on 3 different components. Trails with volunteerism, where you need to do things because there's no budget, and instead of complaining, you act. Secondly, that there's a role for individuals within the community to step up and engage with, and in some cases, an individual from the board can do that without violating the Brown Act, but engage with the community to listen and have a conversation. And then the third component was what we did with our Measure A, and what we learned from that. And a big part of what we learned is that the board is constrained as a legal entity from taking a position and advocating for anything. So if you're going to succeed in doing things that people don't want to do, one, they take time, and two, they take engagement from the community to step up and hear a lot of things that nobody wants to talk about. And so when we look at why this failed, and I kind of spoke to this at the last meeting, this failed, you know, from a number of perspectives, in my opinion. You know, everybody knew this was a problem, and everybody talked about it, but COVID hit, and we all got hammered. That's the nicest way to say it. And it set everybody back mentally. And we collectively failed, if we look at an individual board from the board stepping up and communicating that this needed to be addressed before a vote, or the district stepping up and organizing successfully like you did this last go-around with the Measure A, and, you know, and taking all the bullets on that but making it come together, or community members stepping up and explaining why it needed to happen. That didn't happen. And so all the prerequisites occurred from a legal standpoint, you know, and a Brown Act and everything else to inform people that, you know, here's a vote, but nobody knew why they wanted to vote on it. And that's where we are today, because, you know, we're looking at paying down $1 million+ loan. And that frees up $180,000 annually in cash flow, but that doesn't solve an N million, or, you know, let's say an 8-digit million road assessment issue that we're going to face. Now, Bear Valley is actually coming up with a plan, and I think that this committee that we're talking about could actually begin to have conversations with them. But Bear Valley is talking about a multi-generational road plan for their 110 miles of roads. So they're a little forward thinking. And you might say, well, they have more money, but they have the same issue. They have the same issues as we have. They have it with sewer. They have 2X structures, a little bit greater for sewer, but they have the same issue. And if they walked away from sewer, the county would have to pick it up. If the county picked it up, they wouldn't do it. So then it would go to an outsourced provider who would then end up charging more, so sewer would still get handled. The roads will still get handled, whether the district does the job or not. So the cost is going to fall on the people that live here, because, you know, if you look at High Gun, you go up to the end of the cul-de-sac and all of a sudden you're on dirt, and that dirt is huge crevices. There used to be a guy, but he died, but he would do all the prep work on that road with his own grader. But I don't know how they do it now. So they're on their own. And that, you know, in spite of the fact that we've got a lot of cowboys out here that think that, you know, they can do everything themselves, roads you can't. So we have to do it. So we need to start having conversations. I'm going to start having conversations because at least we have some data and we can start hearing all the objectives. So I'm going to deal with that on the social networks and have conversations. I'm not looking for a blessing. I'm just saying heads up, because people need to start talking about something they don't want to hear. But I think the board really needs to look at what they're going to do here to make this work, because it's not going away. The costs aren't going down. I would say I wouldn't draw a contract this week to do anything because oil's going to come down. And I'm pretty confident on that, because the only way you can drill it is if it's between $50 and $80 a barrel. Right now it's 106, 110, somewhere in there, but it'll come down, and because the supply is there. So I think, you know, we'll see kind of a normal, and in this document they had a 4X cost increase over a 30-year period. So it's not a huge increase in costs, really, over inflation. So, you know, we're looking at an increased cost, but it's manageable. But we're going to be looking at something greater than the contract we have today, which means we're really looking more than $150 per year per parcel, which is why I was really hammering on this other thing where parcels got to pay their weight. So we have to do this, and the question is, how can we do it effectively? Right. But we have to start having the conversations. I think it's important for a board member to keep in line with, you know, what the Brown Act would allow, just to have community conversations without speaking for the board, without communicating you know, and back channeling of the board members' opinions, but for a member to start having those conversations, that would be valuable. And, the district doesn't have to be involved with that, shouldn't be involved with it. That should just be a member to listen. And I'll certainly do my part, and I think I can rally other people to do their part, but we need to prepare people to pay more than $150 per parcel, you know, within a couple of years. It wouldn't hit this next tax bill, but it probably should hit the bill after that.
In order for us to do an increase, we'll have to do a study again, and we have to go to a vote again.
Yep.
So that's, you know, that is going to take some long-term preparation.
Right, and that will take...
based on our previous. But right now, for this agenda item, the agenda item is, do we form a committee now, or do we postpone until 2027? Right. 2027, when you throw it out there, it sounds like it's a long ways away. It's 9 months. That doesn't preclude us from starting those conversations.
Right.
And getting the ball rolling so that when ready for a committee, we can, you know, hit the ground running. Right now, we have 2 committees going, and everyone...
My wife would kill me, I'm just...
I was going to say, everyone is, you know, this is going to take some more community effort, I believe, because everyone's on a committee right now. Everyone's doing...
And you're one down.
Multiple.
You're one down,
right.
And
so as much as we want to get everything, when you put all the balls in the air, something's going to fall.
Right.
So I think that we might be better off waiting 9 months.
So you're talking about calendar year 2027, not fiscal year?
When I say, when I say 2027, I'm saying calendar year 2027.
Because it wasn't clear in the document.
Yeah, right. we're 9 months away from that.
That's
However,
great. So that works.
Like I said, preclude us from having people in the community start the conversation, get the ball rolling, so that when we bring this back and we say, okay, now we're starting a committee.
People should have their own conversations. You don't need to be involved with that as a board.
Yeah, and then they'll be energized and they'll want to come and they'll want to be on the committee.
We want to drive the curiosity. And that'll happen outside of the district.
Right. So for this evening's agenda item, though, we do need to decide whether we want to form a committee now or whether we want to postpone. Thank you for that. That was very intuitive information for us.
And I think too, Director Sassett, moving forward, and you know, Steve hit the nail on the head. These are conversations that the community doesn't like to hear, not what they want to talk about, because again, asking people, residents, taxpayers, to open their wallet is a very difficult conversation on multiple levels. And I'll just be very transparent and state publicly that the roads department is not the only department that this needs to be discussed in. So I think the board needs to be prepared for that moving forward. And I think multiple studies and multiple committees are going to need to be formed moving forward.
I just want to say that if I'm understanding what Steve's main thrust is here, he's talking about outreach. And I don't see that we need a committee to do that. Is it possible, for instance, that we could start putting community information on the roads in our newsletters, and if we have information going out in bills at some point in the future, just to begin starting to let people know what the issues are, because maybe their road's fine. I mean, another thing is, I mean, I was looking at this last year, and there was a plant that was 3 feet high in the middle of Buckeye Court, or Flat, whatever it is, anyway, Buckeye, and it stayed there. And I kept thinking, well, why doesn't someone just run over it? You know, it's in a crack in the road. And it became like a game. It's like, when is this going to happen? But the point there is that, you know, the residents could go out in front of their own properties and weed eat the plants that are growing up and increasing the crack size in their asphalt. And you know, things like that, you know, we might be able to incur. Maybe it's not liability-wise, but I do it in front of my own property. All the vegetation that's growing in cracks, that's not helping the longevity of our roads any. You know, so little things like that. And could we communicate that without a committee? I mean, find ways to do that by making outreach before we get to the point of a committee, just in the intervening time.
Yeah, I completely agree with that, but I don't think that's a board vote. That's just kind of like what I'm trying to do with trails, essentially. I just put it out there, I ask for people to talk, and...
That could be a feature in the bridge.
Right, right.
Volunteer did something.
Right,
Featured in the bridge.
right. And just, yeah.
Bad road of the week, of the month.
Right, and send a picture of it in the thing and just get people aware that there's, 100%.
What people are doing on this is featured in the bridge, as long as it's kosher.
Yep.
Right?
Right.
So,
Talking about what volunteers do.
yeah, so we have a lot of,
Yeah, 100%.
we have a lot of good ideas. We can send those out there. We can send out the community vibe. And, in the meantime, though, we need to vote on whether we have a committee now.
I don't think we need a committee right now. I don't think we're ready for it.
Okay,
I'll make a motion that we postpone the formation of a roads committee until 2027 in anticipation of the road loan being paid off in 2028.
I second that.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you for that, and thank you for the information. Okay, item number 12 on the agenda is committee reports, and the first one on the agenda is Measure A Committee.
Go for it.
And we do not have
Much to say.
an update at this point. And then number 2 is the CC&R Committee.
We are currently reconfiguring and deciding how we want to approach the committee. So we have met and we will meet again.
Thank you. Motion to receive and file reports.
I make a motion to receive and file reports.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you for that. The next item on the agenda is the General Manager's report. General Manager?
Happy St. Patrick's Day.
Yay.
Go brah.
Chief Crowell and I, since the last board meeting, Chief Crowell and I attended the Kern County Jurisdictional Hazard Mitigation Planning Committee. That's a mouthful. They have an acronym for it, but I don't know. And just meeting with all of the other special districts throughout all of Kern County. And they are conducting some surveys, and they need our assistance to provide Stallion Springs information to them and data. At some point, they will be expecting us to send a community survey out. Once that is prepared by the County of Kern, they have contracted with a third-party vendor to execute this. So Chief Crowell and I are involved and representing Stallion and helping with that as much as we can. So there'll be a lot more information about that coming out in the future. I met with couple of utility billing software companies. This is ongoing, exploring some options for streamlining and updating the district's utility billing software program. Continue to spend a tremendous amount of time and effort. Even Judy jumped in today and helped me with some documents regarding the Harkey versus SFCSD litigation. It is still in discovery. April Calhoun, the finance director, and I met with Jim Burris, and we took a deep dive and reviewed the budget versus actuals for the water department. April and I also met with the representatives from Optimized. You recall, the board approved entering into a contract with them, and we have moved money out of the county and into some higher yielding accounts in an effort to, make the most with what we have and earn some interest and be a little more diverse and not have all of our money in one place. Jim Burris and I attended the Tehachapi Cummings County Water District annual meeting, and they discussed the state water project then that you referred to, and and then I worked with Jason Garza, our IT director, and it was kind of a great undertaking. Thank you, Jason, because he spent a lot of time going through all the keys that the district has to doors and what they belong to, and keys that didn't work any doors in the district. And so they have now been completely accounted for, they have been inventoried, and this is in an effort to improve security throughout our district offices. Field staff, they repaired 2 water leaks on Horse Thief and Ghost Town. Annual fire suppression inspection occurred at the gymnasium. We passed with flying colors. Several MTU transmitters throughout the district were repaired. A lot of potholes throughout the district were repaired.
What is MTU?
It's the little computer box on the top of your water meter that sends the signal of how much water you've used.
Thank you.
Jim probably has a better definition of that, but that was my version for you.
As long as I know it's a thinging on top of the doohickey, I'm fine.
Yeah, you got it, you got it. Park and Recreation, we're heading into the busy season. This Saturday is our Spring Festival, so we'd like to invite everyone in the community to come out. There will be a lot of vendors in the gymnasium, food trucks, bounce house, and Easter egg hunt, things like that on Saturday. And Bakersfield Condors hockey team donated a gift basket as a prize for our Easter egg hunt, so that's kind of exciting. Hopefully everyone has seen the advertisements, but we are doing a fundraiser with the Condors hockey team. There is a Stallion Springs night, where we have sold 28 tickets so far, and the game is on April 17th. If anybody would like more information about that, see me. We're already planning our Horsepower Havoc car show. Car registration has begun, advertising has begun. Again, like last year, it will be the Saturday before Father's Day. It's the June 20th. And we're looking for sponsors. We're always looking for sponsors. So if anyone has any ideas of who or where we could reach out for some sponsorship, we're looking for a major sponsor for our swimming pool this year. The Support Stallion Springs Foundation has graciously sponsored a couple of lifeguard certifications. So the potential employee doesn't have to pay for their Red Cross certification. Kids camp, car show, sponsors. Park and Recreation Department lives on sponsorship and survives on sponsorship. So I can't stress that enough. And that's my report for this month.
All right, thank you. Are there any questions for the General Manager, Board? Community? Okay. All right, then we need a motion to receive and file our General Manager's report.
I make a motion to receive and file the General Manager's report.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Motion carries. And with that, that is the end of our agenda this evening, so we just need to make a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion to adjourn this meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. Thank you very much, everyone.